They grabbed their
Mm.
weapons. They started
Yeah.
cooking fires, and they were on the move all day long. And
Mm.
they were basically living their lives on the ground. I mean, there was no
Yeah.
furniture. There was no
Yes.
furniture. Your fire was on the ground. You slept on the ground. Everything was conducted on the ground.
Hello, Jana. Hello, listeners. Welcome to JB10 Mobility Fitness. And today we've got an exciting topic. We're talking about why sitting is the new smoking. Now, I'm really curious about this one because after that intimate moment of passion, I've never had this urge to sit up and sit.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. It's not my phrase. I can't claim credit for this. I saw it somewhere and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is so true because literally sitting is killing us. It is causing a lot of injuries and a lot of pain and a lot of aches and a lot of suffering.
Because it's a big part of our day, especially if you're an office worker. Sitting is a big thing, and I know the city standy desks. I know that's a technical name, but they're becoming more prominent. But still, for most people, even when you've got that ability, I've noticed that they still sit down a lot. Is that?
Mm.
I mean, is it becoming addictive, or is it just because we're lazy, or what's causing this problem where we need to sit all the time, and how is it affecting us?
Well, I think it's our modern lifestyle because when you think about back to primal people, they woke up
Mm,
with the sun, they grabbed their
mm,
weapons, they started
yeah.
cooking fires, and they were on the move all day long. And
Mm,
they were basically living their lives on the ground. I mean, there was no
yeah.
furniture. There was no
Yes.
furniture. Your fire was on the ground, you slept on the ground, everything was conducted on the ground. And then
Yeah.
when you compare it to the modern human who
Mm,
gets out of bed, sits down at breakfast, then hops in the car, sits in the car or on the bus, goes to the
yeah.
office. I mean, not all
Yeah.
people, but most people,
Yeah.
even children. We put children in, at schools where they have to sit down a lot.
Yeah.
But that's even children who really should be moving, should be moving
Yes.
a lot. And then you sit at the office for 8.5 hours or 9 hours,
Mm,
and then you hop into some form of transport, unless you're
yeah.
lucky and work in the walking distance. And then you go home and then usually sit on the couch and watch some TV,
So
you
how is
know.
this sitting affecting our health?
So it's diminishing our energy and closing our airways. There'll be one,
Right.
because
Yeah.
we're not standing
Which is
upright. There'll
like
be
smoking, diminishing your energy,
pretty
closing your eye. Yeah.
absolutely, because when you are in that forward
Yeah.
posture, you are inevitably
Mm,
closing the rib cage and closing and restricting the airways. So then you're not getting enough oxygen into the body because you can't,
mm,
nobody breathes,
yeah.
deeply. So and it has effect on energy levels too. Like I
Yeah.
personally find that as soon as I sit down, it's almost like I feel it, my energy goes down because
Yeah.
I'm kind of in this restricted position where I'm just not moving and your lymphatic system is not being, things are not moving in your body. It gets very stagnant. Everything
Yeah.
cools and whereas as soon as you start moving, you just feel the life force kind of
Mm,
placing in your body.
yeah.
And then it has really adverse effects on our physiology. So you see the forward posture where our heads are, tilted forward, putting enormous amount of pressure on the neck. A lot of people have literally pain in the neck,
Yeah.
not just figuratively, but literally as
So
well.
they're not a pain in the neck. They
No,
have
they
a
have
pain in the neck.
significant pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you get the locked up area around the shoulder blades. Often people have
Mm,
that rounded posture. They have
mm,
significant pain in the lower back. People that sit down a lot, unless they diligently do lots of mobility and strength training, they will have pain in the lower back and then extremely tight hips.
yeah.
Once you get extremely tight hips, that the hips are the engine of the body. That's where most movement is created from. You know,
Mm,
walking, running, anything you do, the hips literally are the engine of the body. And if everything becomes locked up and restricted and tight, your movement is affected. I mean, I watch people in the street all the time, and you can so rarely see someone who walks in a
mm,
really beautiful way. It's more like
yeah.
shuffling and propelling yourself forward with not much movement. You can see the tight hips, the tight
Mm,
hamstrings, the tight feet, the tight ankles.
So from that perspective, the sitting, obviously, from that perspective, and we've talked about this on other videos, where that being in that shape rather than being stretched out, but here, so this side in the middle is actually compressed, and the other side is stretched, and that's not what it's designed to do. It's meant to be equally. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. So your hip flexors are basically contracted the whole time. So imagine that you did a bicep curl and you held that bicep curl for 8.5 hours.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Can you imagine? Can you
Yeah.
imagine the pain in your elbow and the pain in your shoulder and just the overall pain in that arm
Yes.
if you had to do that for 8.5 hours? And that's exactly what you're doing with your hip flexors.
Yeah. So what we need to do, so how do we counteract that with what do we need to do to counteract that?
So there's a lot of strategies. Obviously, moving as much
Mm.
as you can within your workday. So I call them the movement snacks. So you
Yeah.
are snacking on movement. So
I
every
like that.
hour or an hour and a half, you just get off your
Do they
desk.
come in chocolate?
Yeah, if only, if only. Yeah. And walk somewhere, don't take the elevator if you're at work, take the stairs. Because when you
Mm.
think about walking up the stairs, you are extending the hip. So you are,
Ah.
you know, sending some nutrients and lubrication and stretching the muscles again. Walk, do some basic mobility movement in your office. You don't have to sit down on the ground. You can do it standing and do mobility every day, preferably in
So
the morning and in the afternoon when you get home from work.
yes, because some people were saying, "Well, I've got to sit. That's where I work." But from what you're saying too, you mean when you get, you didn't magically beam into your desk. It's not Star Trek. You actually, you walk to your desk. Or what you're saying is there's things that you can do in the office. And we've got those things, JB10 Mobility Fitness. We've got exercises that you can do in the office without looking like a twat. You can actually do that as well. So check that out if that's of help to you. But is it as simple as that? Is you can be in the office, get up, do a bit of mobility that even looks like you might be pretty cool and suave, and then and get back down again.
Start a
Simple as
movement. Start a movement at your office,
that?
Yeah. Because
Unintended?
yeah, totally, absolutely. Pun totally intended. Yeah. It's maybe you might feel a bit self-conscious, but think about the health and implications for you living in pain.
Well, share it with other people. Encourage other
Share it with
people to.
other people.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
look, this is come and join me on a bit of a mobility ride, and we'll charge forward. So basically, yeah, what you're saying is sitting is the new smoking. It actually is compressing a lot of things, taking oxygen out of your body, giving you aches and pains. Need to get up, out there, move a bit. Quite simply, in a really cool way if you want to, or if you want to attract attention, don't do it in a cool way, and be cheesy about it. I like my nachos with lots of
Yes,
cheese.
totally. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jana, for that time explaining why sitting is the new fitness. For those that are looking for exercises to do in the office, go to JB10 Mobility Fitness, and we will set you up with some really cool stuff that can keep you up, active, and enjoying your life.